Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The national capital of India, New Delhi, continues to suffer an acute water crisis and politics is playing all over it. In fact, the Supreme Court today came down heavily on the Delhi government over the prevalence of tanker mafia and water wastage in the city and asked if Delhi government had taken all measures to counter them. In fact, Delhi government said that there is action including massive disconnection of water supplies so that excess water wastage is stopped. Now, the top court has asked Delhi government to file a report stating the action taken for the loss of water. The matter again will be taken up on Thursday. Residents of Delhi for the last few days have been grappling with severe water shortages. This is coming amidst a sweltering heat wave that's going on for the past few days in the northern part of India. And this has been a long festering problem, the Delhi water crisis. Delhi has been largely dependent on its neighbouring states of Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh to meet around 90% of its drinking water needs. The politics over this matter, water that is so critical to human dignity, has been, although, a constant feature. The BJP has accused Aam Aadmi Party of lying and fomenting the crisis by mishandling resources, while the Aam Aadmi Party has counter-attacked by alleging that the BJP government in Haryana continues to not release the city's share of water despite claiming to do so. And it has also fired shots at the Lieutenant Governor of New Delhi. Now, why does Delhi struggle with so much water shortage, especially in the pre-monsoon months of April and May? And how can this problem be fixed? Who needs to own this responsibility? That is what we ask tonight in our show. We'll be joined by a panel of guests, but first, here's a report.
As Delhi's water crisis deepens in this harsh summer, the 102-kilometre-long Munak Canal from Haryana to Delhi, the main source of drinking water to the national capital, has become the biggest bone of contention between the two states and between the BJP and Delhi's AAP government. The BJP has accused the AAP government of failing to stop pilferage from the canal, while the Delhi LG has said as much as 1/5 of Delhi's water is being stolen from the canal within the boundaries of the capital. The Aam Aadmi Party has refuted the allegations and said the Haryana government is deliberately withholding water for Delhi. At ground zero, the NDTV team found this tanker, marked with Delhi Jal Board initials, drawing water from the canal. Something a legitimate DGP tanker is not supposed to do.
The Delhi BJP, in fact, has also raised questions on the Delhi government. In fact, they have gone on to say that the tankers that are present here, and we are showing you in our very frame, you can see the tankers that are present here, the private tankers that are present here. The BJP alleges that they are in fact taking water, stealing water from here, and that is why the water scarcity is only deepening here.
This as the Supreme Court asked tough questions to the AAP government, asking what they were doing to crack down on the tanker mafia in the capital. Earlier today, Delhi Water Minister Atishi said that the government would ensure zero water was wasted from leakages in the capital.
It is the residents of Delhi who continue to be on the suffering end, and they are still waiting for all the stakeholders to come together and take action and provide them with a concrete solution that could end this crisis. Now, with camera person Xavier, this is Shika Verma for NDTV.
Okay, joining us now is Amit Tiwari, spokesperson of Delhi BJP. We have Siddharth Sharma, Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson, and we also have Professor Anjal Prakash, who's a professor at the Indian School of Business and also a water and climate expert. All of you, thank you so much for joining me on this show. To you first, Mr. Amit Tiwari. Sir, how do you see this? Because, while Aam Aadmi Party has been blaming Haryana government and saying that it's the BJP that is deliberately stopping water, it is the BJP that has been at the centre. Delhi is the national capital. Can you tell us what has the centre done to address a problem like this, which has been festering for so long?
See, the water is a state subject. It is for the Aam Aadmi Party, Delhi government to take care of itself. But let me give you some facts that will clarify the situation. In 2013-14, the water available with the Delhi was 906 MGD. the requirement was around 1100 mgd. Over a period of time for last 10 years, obviously the population has grown up. And today the availability of water has hardly gone up from 906 to 943 mgd, whereas the requirement is 1350 mgd. Now till yesterday, the allegations levelled by Aam Aadmi Party was that the Haryana is not releasing the water released by the Himachal Pradesh, and the second allegation was that the Haryana is reducing the share that the Delhi is entitled to. The Haryana filed its affidavit before the Supreme Court. Everybody heard what has happened in the Supreme Court today. On oath, when the affidavit was filed, Supreme Court perused the entire affidavit and then said and came down heavily on Aam Aadmi Party government that you are lying. You are not doing proper governance. There is a mismanagement. There are tanker mafias which are operating. There are Google images that we have shown. There are complaints where their MLAs are involved in those tanker mafias. We have presented some of the complaints along with the evidence. So it's not that the Delhi is getting less water. The Haryana has categorically said that the Delhi is getting more than its share, 1050 cubic of water. But there is a pilferage. Yes, there are tanker mafias, private tanker mafias, who are stealing the water, and therefore the people of Delhi are today deprived of the clean drinking water,
Sharma,
which is their fundamental
water
right.
shortage,
So
water
far as the
wastage seems to
allegations
be the
levelled,
problem. Yes, sir. Mr. Sharma, would you like to respond to that? And also, see, the Supreme Court, when it directed Himachal Pradesh government to release, 135 or 137 cusecs of water, it was seen as maybe that's a little bit of a win for the Aam Aadmi Party government. But today's observations of the court are very serious, because it's asking your government what are the steps that you've taken all these years, to ensure that common people don't suffer, something that we see around the city these days, people scrambling for water even as this heat wave is going on. So how do you respond to the BJP's allegations, and more so, how do you see the Supreme Court's observations today?
Yeah, Vasudha, you asked me how do I respond to BJP's allegation. I'll respond to that allegation later, but there are some facts that need to be known. Fact number one, where is the water from Haryana, 1050 cusecs that was supposed to come daily to Delhi? According to the Haryana affidavit filed in the Supreme Court, it has said the mea culpa that for 25 days in May, a total of less than 1000 cusecs of water was released from Haryana. This is what Haryana is saying on record in an affidavit in the Supreme Court. Even on 9th of June, that is day before yesterday, there was only 985 cusecs of water released from Haryana in place of 1050 cusecs. That is the water aspect. Although Delhi has an understanding with MOU with Himachal Pradesh to send water.
Mr. Sharma, you were telling us that it is not the Aam Aadmi Party that is responsible for this, but clearly, yesterday I was looking at the power outages controversy, and, I saw the minister blaming the UP government, and for this you're blaming the Haryana government. So clearly there is some responsibility that does lie with Aam Aadmi Party, isn't it?
I didn't blame Haryana government. I just stated the facts, what the Haryana government said in the Supreme Court,
yes,
the mea culpa that Haryana said. I didn't blame anyone.
Right.
Point number two, regarding the water tanker mafia. It will be interesting to note that last year in June 2023, exactly 1 year ago, there were 1200 water tankers in Delhi. But today, 1 year later, when we are seeing an unprecedented heat wave, there are only 888 tankers functional in Delhi. Between this period, when an unprecedented heat wave is going on, the water tanker numbers should have increased. The water tanker numbers have decreased. The Delhi government has repeatedly asked and written to the Delhi Jal Board CEO that these tanker numbers have to be increased. They have not been increased. This clearly now seems like a potential collusion of executive with the tanker mafia. Since this now becomes a criminal act, the law and order police of Delhi is answerable to this. And this is what the LG is also accepting.
Okay.
LG is also accepting that there is a tanker mafia.
Okay.
Now, if there is a criminal act in Delhi, the criminal act of Delhi falls under the LG himself. So
right.
Is the LG self-implicating himself here? I don't know. It is for him to answer.
Right. Mr. Tiwari, would you like to respond to that before I go to Anjal Prakash?
Yes, I will like to respond. I will give you some quick facts, some historical facts that will expose the character of the Aam Aadmi Party. Till 2021, for the Parali incident, only Punjab
Sir,
was
this is not
responsible.
about
Okay,
When
let's
they
not talk
came
about
to power
Pirali
in
here. Okay, let me go to
2019,
Anjan Prakash
Punjab,
now.
last
I'll
year,
come back to you in a bit. I will come back to you. Sir, Mr. Tiwari, I'll come back to you in a bit. Let me go to Mr. Prakash. Mr. Prakash, despite oversight by pollution control boards and interventions by, the NGT, Yamuna remains, one of the most polluted rivers because, while we talk about contaminated water, I was looking at the other complaints of people. There is less water, there is contaminated water. What do we do about Delhi's clean water supply? Because there seems to be a need to act on climate action and also in terms of improving, institutionalizing some reforms with respect to how Delhi provides water to its residents, because this is a constantly growing city. It's a city of migrants, and even Delhi's economic survey report says that our water demands are increasing every day.
Yeah, Vasudha, I'm actually having a deja vu because this is the third year, if my memory serves me right. I'm actually sitting in a panel discussing same issue in June with different party spokesperson, and that the problem is that we have not been able to, help the people of the of Delhi. One, the political leadership and whoever it is, at the helm of the affair has failed people at large, and that's the most problematic part of this whole issue. Not that we don't know what the causes are. Let me just put up three major causes. One is definitely that Delhi water is dependent on its neighboring state. But 90% of Delhi's water actually come from because it's a lower riparian state. It comes from Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh all together, right? Second major issue is about the water infrastructure. Delhi has not invested in its water infrastructure, and that's why we have this very iniquitous what I would say distribution of water. We have about 100 milliliter per capita per day to 225 liters per capita per day. That's the distribution, and in fact, that's an average. Some places it's even lower. In slums like Sangam Vihar and all that, it's as low as 40 to 50 liters per capita per day, and that is where we are doing. The third part is about the climate-induced heat wave that we have seen, which is unprecedented in nature. 52 degrees centigrade is something that has not heard of, and this is going to grow.
Right.
And this is a force multiplier. What I actually am appalled to see, and this is not something which is not known to the policymakers. Whoever is in charge must take this into account.
Right.
That we should not come on the same panel next year.
Okay, let me ask the BJP spokesperson, Yamshid Tiwari, what the expert said is very important because, he says that this is something that happens every year. Now, at the core of this issue, we all understand is the water sharing dispute with Haryana. Delhi government has often, criticized Haryana government. Let's not get into that. But clearly, you are at the center, and Delhi is the capital of the country, and it is the city that basically hosted the G20 presidency, something that your government very proudly talks about. Today, and even on Thursday, the Supreme Court made it very clear that there should be no politics on water. Shouldn't the centre also be playing a bigger role in this? Because at the end of the day, Delhi is a union territory and Aam Aadmi Party is a much smaller party.
Ma'am, people cooperate when there is a cooperation from both the sides. I fully agree with the environmental experts sitting along with me that yes, certainly every year this is a problem, this has to be resolved. But what has happened today is the Supreme Court has said that the Haryana is releasing water. Now, do they not believe in Supreme Court? Till yesterday, the allegation was something else. Now, today, Ms. Atishi is writing that tanker mafia is rising, tanker private mafia is rising. Please take action, and please Delhi police take action. Now, my friend is also saying that the core and the bottom issue is the people must get water. That is the responsibility of Aam Aadmi Party today. So, instead of blaming other states for every failure or in every year, that is the reason why I was giving the example of Parari that till 2021 it was only Punjab. But last year it was Haryana, Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Last year when there were floods in Delhi, mainly because dredging did not take place, desilting did not take place, drainage was not properly cleaned, they said that Haryana has released excess water. Now today the facts are on record with the Supreme Court. When the Supreme Court gives them some kind of relief, maybe a 21 days interim relief, they say that the democracy has been saved. Supreme Court is the best institution.
Okay.
So today Supreme Court has
from you, Mr.
criticized
Sharma.
you,
I'm really
has
sorry, Mr.
come
Tiwari, I
down
have to
very
go to
heavily
Mr.
that what
Sharma.
action did you take?
Yes.
Please file report.
Mr.
Let
Sharma,
them
last
report.
word from you, 30 seconds. Just tell us how are you planning to address this problem? Because you've been at power in the centre power in Delhi for the last 10 years.
I think you answered the question rightly when you asked the BJP spokesperson that as the bigger party, because we have to understand that intrastate water disputes, the Water Commission of India, the Prime Minister chairs it. Even if there is a Tamil Nadu and between Karnataka, there is a water dispute, water problem, the Prime Minister is supposed to solve it. What is the BJP saying that for some reason, if the mother,
But sir, your
that is
party
Aam Aadmi
has
Party,
been in
is unable
power
to take
in
care of
Delhi
the
for the
child,
last 10
isn't it
years,
the
and
responsibility
your
of the
chief minister also
father,
talks about
the bigger
statehood.
father, the BJP, to ensure that the people of Delhi are solved? What is the Prime Minister doing here? What is the Prime Minister doing here? He is the chairman of the Central Water Commission. He is supposed to intervene. Why isn't he intervening? That's the
Last year,
question
the
But
here.
sir,
question
there
was,
is
what is the environmental
responsibility
minister
on
doing
your
during
party
Paradip?
as well, right? You've been in power for the last 10 years. What is it? Is there a clear, a program that you have in your mind, or is it because the chief minister is in jail that the party in some ways is floundering and not being able to take important policy decisions that the city deserves?
So that means that Gurgaon is not getting water right now, and Gurgaon is in BJP area, BJP rule. So does that mean that the Prime Minister, because for the last 8 days
Okay.
after the election results, he has been a lame duck Prime Minister? That is why Gurgaon is not
So
getting
they are
water.
not
So are you saying
responsible
that
for anything.
India has chosen a lame duck Prime Minister? So for the next 5 years, there will be no policy.
Okay.
Because that's the same argument that you are taking right now for Arvind Kejriwal. You are saying Arvind Kejriwal is a lame duck chief minister.
Okay, okay.
I am saying that Mr. Narendra Modi is the lame
Okay,
duck
okay.
Prime
Last
Minister.
word from you, Mr. Prakash. Anything that you say as an expert that
No,
needs.
I am actually, thank you so much, Vasudha. I mean, my actual request with folded hand to both the parties actually just just sit across each other. This is the problem of the people, and poorest of the poor people are actually suffering. You can see the images here. Have some mercy on these people. Sit across the party line. I think this is not a time for us to blame game.
Absolutely.
Just get the water for the people who needs it the most.
That's so
what my
well said.
request.
Thank you, Mr. Prakash. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Thank you, Mr. Tiwari, for joining me on this show.